Welcome back to the LoreVerse, where we dive deep, and I mean deep, into the stories we think we know. Today, we're talking about one of the most mysterious and misunderstood lines in the entire Harry Potter series. A line that happens in the very first chapter, before wands, before Hogwarts, and before we even meet Harry as a wizard. And that line is this: He has powers I will never have. Dumbledore says this about Voldemort in chapter 1, the Sorcerer's Stone, when McGonagall is trying to understand how Lily and James Potter were defeated. This is huge because Dumbledore, the greatest wizard alive, the man everyone fears and respects, is openly admitting that Voldemort has powers beyond him. So, what does this really mean? Because this is not Dumbledore being humble. This is not modesty. This is lore. And to understand it, we have to go back before Voldemort, before Hogwarts, and before Harry. We have to talk about magic itself. See, hear this, guys. In the wizarding world, power isn't about how strong your spells are. It's not about who can blast the biggest fireball or conjure the strongest Patronus. Magic has philosophies, magic has roots, and magic has sources. And Dumbledore and Voldemort don't just use magic differently, they believe in magic differently. So Dumbledore's belief is that magic is connected to love, loyalty, sacrifice, and forgiveness. Voldemort's view of magic is tied to power, domination, control, the body, and the soul. And this is why J.K. Rowling writes them like two ends of the same ancient spectrum. Dumbledore's power comes from connection. Voldemort's power comes from severing connection. Dumbledore performs miracles because he understands people. Voldemort performs horrors because he destroys what makes people human. So when Dumbledore says he has powers I will never have, he's talking about dark magic. Magic that comes from soul manipulation, from self-mutilation, and from removing the ability to love. And Voldemort willingly went where Dumbledore refused to go. Now let's talk about Horcruxes, not the object, but the act of it. Splitting your soul is not just a spell, it's a philosophical choice. Because to make a Horcrux, you must number one, kill, and number two, not feel remorse, which means no guilt, no regret, and no hesitation. You must look someone in the eyes and erase them from existence and feel nothing. There are very few beings in the wizarding world capable of this. Voldemort was born with the capacity to not love, not by accident, but because of how he was conceived, under a love spell with no true emotional connection. And his soul came into existence already fractured. So Voldemort has a natural affinity for magic tied to identity, fear, and the soul. But Dumbledore can never do that. Not because he can't, but because his soul won't allow it. And that's the key. McGonagall says this: you think he's gone for good? And Dumbledore answers, he'll be back. Why? Because Dumbledore understands Voldemort's magic, not from using it, but from knowing what Voldemort sacrificed to gain it. Dumbledore lost his sister, his innocence, his trust in himself, and he swore he would never chase power again for power's sake. And his magic comes from wisdom earned through pain. And that's why Dumbledore has powers that Voldemort will never have, like the ability to love, the ability to inspire loyalty, the ability to sacrifice himself, and to be able to accept death. These are not just moral differences, these are magical advantages because love is a binding force in Rowling's magic system. Lily's sacrifice didn't defeat Voldemort because she was nice. It defeated Voldemort because love is ancient magic. It's older than even wand work. And Voldemort literally cannot understand it. So Dumbledore is saying Voldemort has dark magic, magic tied to fear and domination. But I have love, sacrifice, and loyalty, magic he will never be able to wield. And that one sentence in chapter 1 is the entire theme of Harry Potter. Harry wins not because he is stronger, Voldemort loses not because he's weaker. The war is decided by the kind of magic each one believes in. Voldemort believes in power equals immortality, which equals dominance. Dumbledore believes power equals connection and it equals purpose. And Harry Potter? Harry is the child of both worlds. Harry has his mother's love, Dumbledore's wisdom, Voldemort's mark, Voldemort's instincts, and the ability to speak to snakes. And he also has the ability to feel Voldemort's emotions. Harry is the bridge between the two magic systems, and that's why Harry is the chosen one. Not because of a prophecy, but because of destiny. But because he carries the magic that Voldemort threw away, which is love, and the magic Voldemort tried to hoard, which is power, and chooses love every time. So when Dumbledore says he has powers I will never have, he's not admitting weakness. He's saying Voldemort mutilated his soul to gain the magic of fear, and that I will never do that. And in the end, that is why he will lose. This is not a story about good defeating evil through strength, but it's about humanity defeating emptiness, because Voldemort has power, but Harry has something Voldemort cannot comprehend, and that is the willingness to die for others. And that's why love is magic in this world. And that's why Voldemort loses. And that's why Dumbledore wins without ever throwing a spell. And that's the truth of it. A line in chapter one that quietly tells you the ending of the entire series. If you're new to the LoreVerse, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you've been here, you already know. We don't just talk about the story, we talk about the soul of the story. Please like the video, please comment, please subscribe, and stay crispy. Have a great day, y'all, and peace out.